Our devotional thought from the New Testament today comes from Matthew chapter 27, and it deals with the subject of mockery. Have you ever noticed in Scripture that God never mocks us, no matter how foolish we are? I love one of my favorite verses in the Bible. I love it. It says his gentleness, another translation says his stooping down makes us great. God never mocks us in our weakness. He stoops down on one knee to help us. He's gentle with us in our foolishness. But in life today, we see a lot of mockery. We see a lot of mockery on Facebook. We see a lot of mockery on Instagram. We see a lot of mockery in the news media today. Mockery is part of the world. It's one of the most devastating weapons to the human soul. When people stand back with a little smirk on their face and they mock what they do not understand. Mockery breaks the soul of people. Sometimes we call it cyberbullying because that's what it is. It's fat shaming a young person who's overweight. When I was a young boy, it was calling somebody with glasses 4 eyes. It's making fun of someone's little defect on their face or defect in the way that they walk. It's pulling out some weakness in somebody or some imaginary thing that you don't like about the person and mocking them. Now, God has never liked mockery. Remember the guy that came out and mocked Elisha for his baldness? Lion came out and killed him. God has never liked mockery. Now, I want you to notice how the world treats Jesus on the cross. He's dying to take the punishment of their sins. He's doing all of this because of a heart of love for them. But in Matthew 27, beginning with verse 31, some of the governor's soldiers took Jesus into their headquarters, called out the entire regiment. They wanted a big crowd. They stripped him and put a scarlet robe on him, and they wove thorn branches into a crown and put it on his head and placed a reed stick in his right hand as a scepter. They knelt before him in mockery, and taunted him, "Hail, King of the Jews." As he hung on the cross in verses 39 and 40, the people passing by shouted abuse, shaking their heads in mockery at Jesus. Now he's taking the punishment of their sins, and they're yelling words of mockery. Verse 40, "Look at you now," they yelled. "You said you were going to destroy the temple and rebuild it in 3 days. Well then, if you are the Son of God, save yourself and come down from the cross." Now we know where mockery comes from. Satan. Notice the phrase, "if you are the Son of God." Twice in the temptation of Jesus in the wilderness, Satan says, "if you are." If you are. Mockery is all about making you question who you are. The religious leaders mocked him. Matthew 27, verse 41. The leading priests and teachers of the religious law and elders mocked Jesus. He saved others, they scoffed, but he can't save himself. So he's the King of Israel, is he? Ha ha ha. Let him come down from the cross right now and we will believe in him. What they didn't know is he had the ability to do that, but he chose to stay on the cross because of love. Every year when we go to Israel, which we haven't been for a few years now, I love to go down to the final pit where Jesus spent his last night at Caiaphas' house. And I'm usually the first one down there. And while Sister Bev and the musicians get ready, I just look around at that place and think, Jesus could have just busted out of here. At any time he chose, the whole story could have changed. But he chose not to use his ability. And forgive me, he even chose not to exercise his rights. He chose to sacrifice himself. Yet they mocked him. Now, beloved, may I encourage you as a believer, never participate in mockery. And when you hear people mocking others with that little sneer on their face, never listen to it. Unfriend those people off of Facebook. You don't need mockery getting into your heart. You want to be a person who shows honor, because when you show honor, you receive honor.